What's up, everybody? I decided it was about time for a new video. I haven't been posting all that much, but yeah, I put a lot of work into that Thailand video, and then I've just been so busy. Yeah, I've been back from Thailand for about, give or take, 2 months now. Been off of opiates for over 6 months now, and yeah, things are pretty good. I still think it's gonna be tough from time to time, but I'm keeping busy. I have 2 jobs now, one of which is at my favorite music venue in DC. And finally out of the kitchen, I'm working front of house as a barista, which was actually the first job I ever had when I was 18, was making espresso drinks. So it's coming back. And being at a rock and roll bar, I'm starting to learn bartending a little bit, slowly building up my cocktail repertoire. My shifts are in the morning, so it's not, people don't always drink heavily in the morning, but yeah, it seems like people have been. They come in and they want to get down with the vibe of the place, and ironically, I think a big clientele of people that seem to be drinking in the morning are like young parents, who have their babies and they're on maternity or paternity leave. They'll come in and drink Bloody Marys or mimosas early in the morning. No judgment, but yeah. So I've been working there, and my other job, which is cooking. Besides that, my free time, I've been going to a lot of shows. Music is one of the most important things to me in the world, so it's kind of kept me in a positive place. And then also on that note, the band has been going well. We've been playing a handful of shows since we've been back. We're now in the studio recording our full length, and we're recording it at my buddy's house, who's one of our old drummers. He's doing an amazing job at it. It sounds great, and I'm super pumped about that. So anyways, that stuff out of the way, updates and everything, I thought I'd come to you guys with some more old stories. So these ones are about eating edibles. I've seen some people post some funny videos about eating edibles on their YouTube channel or whatever, and I thought I had some funny stories that I could contribute. Now, eating edibles was not something that I, typically have done very frequently. But as I get older, if I do want to get stoned, it probably is a good way to do it. Because the older I get, and now that I've had COVID 3 times, smoking can kind of hurt my lungs, and weed smoke is pretty heavy. In the past, I don't think I really ate edibles just because my tolerance was so high. People would be like, here, eat this edible that has, so and so milligrams of THC in it, and I'd eat it and it wouldn't do shit. But back in the day, in high school, my early 20s, I would get pretty high off edibles, which maybe these times contributed to my tolerance getting so high. But yeah, this first story that I'm going to tell was from when we were in high school. I think it was my junior year in high school. Yeah, we would, it would be kind of a treat when we would make edibles. They didn't have them just in stores or whatever like they did now. We would have to all contribute and buy an ounce of mids, and then find a day that one of our parents was out of town or something. And then so that we could, smell up their whole house cooking brownies in the oven. But yeah, so this was one of those times. We were taking a trip to the Baltimore Aquarium, our whole grade. And I went to a private school, so our whole grade consisted of 60 people. Yeah, we decided to just come with a big batch of brownies, and a lot of people wanted to eat them. Probably 30 or 40 people in the grade, some of which were not potheads like we were. It's just they got really stoned, but it ended up making for a hilarious time. So yeah, we're on the bus up there and eating brownies, and then people would be like, "Ooh, can I have one?" And we're just like, "Sure." We're just trying to make a good time out of this. So we get to the aquarium, and it's already it's really awesome. We're all really stoned and seeing sharks in the tanks and everything. But also just seeing how ridiculous everyone in our grade was acting. People were just passing out, sitting down. And the teachers, like, they had no clue what was going on, they just thought, like, that all the kids were, like, losing their mind. And, we're just trying to, two teachers, and they're just trying to, like, keep all of us under control. But, yeah, it was a sight to see. I'd never seen this many of, like, kids in my grade stoned at one time. And yeah, so, like, particularly awesome going up to, like, the rainforest exhibit. It was, it was very cool and hilarious. And I remember, like, towards the end of the trip, me and my buddy ran off to go to Tower Records, which, still was a thing back then. And I got a Men at Work CD, that song, like, we come from a land down under. And so on the bus ride back, like, we all were still in party mode. I remember, like, putting that on one of my friends had brought, like, a stereo or like a boombox, and he'd, like, gotten shirtless and was just, like, dancing with the boombox on the bus. And yeah, it just seemed like, party bus going home. And yeah, I'm sure it probably stressed the teachers out a lot. Sorry about that, but I mean, it made for a worthwhile experience. So this next story is about eating entirely too much amount of edibles. And I've seen another thing, that sometimes some pretty funny, wild stories about this online, because it gives people the ability to get much higher than they would even just smoking a ton of weed. So this time it happened when I was about 19 or 20. I had a good friend of mine, and we were kind of partners in crime at the time. At the time, what I was doing to make money was hustling, and we started kind of doing it together, and we were making pretty good money, living a kind of a life beyond our means for being that young. So anyways, we would have, like, a lot of these, like, high-paying customers, and so this one guy gave him this ounce or this cake of hash, or like a cinnamon cake that had an ounce of hash cooked into it. So yeah, one day we were just sitting there, we're ripping bong, and we didn't like, it tasted pretty good, so we didn't think about, like, we as we were starting to get more stoned, we didn't think about the fact that there was, like, a ton of hash in it, but, like, we started munching out, before we knew it, we had realized we'd eaten the entire cake, and we didn't think much of it at the time. We were just like, what? Oops. But so the next thing I know, I wake up. I pretty much, like, blacked out, and then I wake up and I'm like, feel like I'm glued to the floor, and I look over and he is as well, and I, like, couldn't get up, and I was, like, vividly hallucinating. Yeah, I mean, that seemed to happen for like a couple hours. It wasn't like, I've seen some stories about people that they start, like, going in another world for days and days. And I mean, I don't know exactly how much time passed, but yeah, I just remember kind of feeling like an idiot, but also being, blown away that I was able to get that stone from weed. So anyways, yeah, I guess that aren't really that long and drawn out stories, but I don't know. Maybe you guys will find that amusing. So anyways, I guess that's all I have for today. Talk to you guys next time.